In a captivating account from the book of Matthew, chapter 14, verses 22 to 33, we witness Jesus and his disciples embarking on a journey that is nothing short of extraordinary. After demonstrating his divine power through a miraculous wonder, Jesus feels the need for isolation. He directs his disciples to proceed ahead on a boat while he takes it upon himself to bid farewell to the gathering crowd. Thereafter, he retreats to a mountain to partake in a serene communion with God through prayer. Concurrently, the disciples find themselves in the midst of a powerful storm at sea, where howling winds and raging waves threaten their vessel. As the narrative unfolds, we encounter a remarkable turn of events. Jesus decides to reunite with his disciples, not by conventional means, but by walking upon the tumultuous waters. The disciples are initially consumed by fear, mistaking him for an apparition. However, Jesus alleviates their fears with reassuring words. In a moment of excitement, Peter, one of the disciples, requests to join Jesus on the water. Jesus agrees, and Peter momentarily experiences the thrill of walking on water. However, as the severity of the storm dawns upon him, fear takes hold and he begins to sink. His cry for help is met with the swift and unshakable support of Jesus, who saves him and brings calm to the stormy sea. Aboard the boat, the disciples are profoundly moved by the events and unanimously recognize and revere Jesus as the Son of God. This captivating story is not just an adventure, but a powerful reminder of the infinite possibilities that faith can unlock. I have a question for you. What do you do when life's storms are roaring? If you're struggling to deal with the stress of your current circumstances, you might find yourself praying, keeping busy, or even blaming others. But sometimes these actions, even if done in the name of God, can cloud our understanding of what we're truly meant to be doing. Consider this for a moment. Do storms prevent us from getting where we wanted to go? Severe storms can even cause us to lose track of what we're doing before the storm hit. When we talk about storms these days, we mean anything that disrupts our serenity or joy and trust in God's providence and design for your life. Storms in our personal and professional lives, as well as those in our extended families, can include our finances, friends, and even members of our own families. Today, God's word for us is to get out of the boat. You see, getting out of the boat is a necessary part of life. For many of us, our boats are those old patterns of life, predictable behavior, and terrible defects that we seem to repeat over and over again. We're still growing, but our aging boats aren't making any progress. This is the status quo, and the boat embodies it. We are often held back by the status quo, the expected passions of others, and our own anxieties about the unknown. Time to leave the boat and try something fresh. Get out of the boat if you don't like the current situation. In the event that you don't like the way you're being treated, either change boats or get out of the boat. Listen, beloved, stepping out of the boat doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing right away. In fact, the waters might even get rougher for a bit. Think about Peter. He did step out onto the water, but began to sink when he let fear overcome his faith. The lesson here: keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. Your faith and trust in God should be your anchor in these stormy waters. Remember, God doesn't necessarily calm the storm, but He can calm you in the midst of the storm. It is through trials and stormy seas where your faith is rigorously tested and undergoes substantial growth. As you muster the courage to leave behind the familiarity of your boat, be prepared to embrace the winds of change with an unshakable spirit. Surround yourself with positive influences. Be the change you want to see in your life. Don't get bogged down by the weight of expectations or the fear of the unknown. And as you take those steps on the stormy waters, remember that God's hand is just a prayer away to lift you up when you falter. So, dear beloved, lace up those water-walking shoes and get walking in faith. There's a difference between leaving and trying something new. Change the formula, and you'll see a different outcome. Get out of the old boats of failure and frustration while you can. It's time to get off the boat. If you have any sinking or not working ideas, we undervalue God by remaining on our own island. It is better to be on the water with Jesus than in a boat with other people who aren't moving or accomplishing anything. In moving toward Jesus, we succeed. A lot of people have gone through storms in my experience, as well as going through several of my own. In most situations, people believe they're doing the right thing when the storms arrive. Things were found as Peter walked toward Jesus in the face of a strong storm and waves. In the midst of a raging storm, Peter continues his journey toward Jesus. When the storm comes, it's all about which way we go. There are 11 others in the passage who did nothing, which is what most of us do. Some of us turn away from Jesus while others turn toward him. When the storms strike, what do? It is time to flee, to blame, and to shout. Is this how you reacted to the storm? Today, we should strive to get closer to God. We were not meant to weather the storms of life on our own. We were meant to be a part of a community. The idea that one may be self-sufficient by saying, "I have Jesus, and that is enough," is naive. In order to cope, we need somebody to share our anguish with, cry with, and empathize with. Even though Peter was out at sea, Jesus was right there with him. People that have Jesus in them are needed in our lives. Moreover, the essence of community and support reflects the very nature of our faith. The church, friends, family, and loved ones are all threads in the fabric that binds us in our journey towards fulfillment and purpose. Just like how Peter had the support of Jesus when he took the daring step to walk on water, having a support system around you can make a world of difference when navigating the rough seas. Embrace the strength and wisdom that comes from sharing, learning, and growing with others. Encourage one another and build each other up, because a boat might keep you afloat, but a fleet can conquer the sea. When life's storms are raging, remember that there's incredible strength within you, and even more when we unite in faith. Leave behind the confinements of old patterns, and with a heart anchored in faith, step out onto the waters. Yes, it might be turbulent, but don't let fear deter you. Look towards Jesus. Let him guide you. Embrace the support of your community and continue to forge ahead. The waves may be high, but so is the horizon that stretches beyond. So, child of God, as you step out of your boat, know that you are never alone, and the journey you embark upon has the making of not just weathering the storm, but mastering the very oceans that lie before you. When the going gets tough, we need to remember that we must keep going. No matter how dark the night or how rough the road may be willing to get out of your boat when the storms of life are raging and you find yourself struggling and straining with the winds and waves of life. In the tradition-bound boat or the one with low expectations, I encourage you to leave the boat if you're still in it. There's an entire ocean of possibilities waiting for you beyond the boat. With courage in your heart and faith as your sail, embark on this wondrous journey and let the waves carry you to shores unimagined. Trust in God and let your journey become testimony of faith that triumphs over fear.